Hello and welcome to Crafting Unscripted with Katherine Learn Stuff. So today is another Thursday, just around lunchtime. Hopefully you got the email. I guess I'm going to try sending out emails maybe to see if you want to come and do unscripted crafting with me. For everyone who was super excited about the snow that we got about 1.5 feet more snow. So not as much as planned. They were supposed to be over 2 feet. So we're good for snow for now, although it keeps like sprinkling more snow. And so if you are not a snow fan, then you kind of, you're done with this. I like snow. I'm a bit done with it too, though. I'm tired of shoveling. So I'm just going to do a quick check here because something on my screen, I think everything's good. So if you are here, give me a shout, say hello. I've got a bit of 30-second delay from what I see on my screen and what happens here in real life. So if you're here, just give me a hi to let me know that you can see me, because my screen looks different today. Anyway, so I'm still kind of sick, maybe. I don't know, not totally better. So as usual, I've got my tea here. I'm going to be drinking that while we're working. And so I've got a few things I want to talk about before we get into making our craft. Oh, and if you didn't read the email and you're just here by happen chance, we're going to do part 2 of the series today. We are doing the envelopes, but we're not using cutting machines. So we're just going to use like scissors and glue and some rulers maybe. So we're going to do that today in our crafting. But before we get there, I just wanted to quickly go over. Last week I told everyone I was super excited. We got to 1,000 subscribers. So as a gift, I made this card. Oh, it's a bad view. Let me change the angle here. Face down. Maybe this is better. I made this card. I got a bunch of different the colors of it. But I made this card so you can, if you sign up for my email, I'm sending out my email list. I'm sending out the email later this afternoon. I just haven't had a chance to it because I'm a bit discombobulated this week. You can get the free file from my shop for this to celebrate. I'm celebrating my 1,000 subscribers, but you can just get it to celebrate whatever you would like. So it's a SVG file for a cutting machine. I'll see if I can get a SVG of it as well so that you can use this like busy cut it out. But we'll see how much time I've got this afternoon. So that's going out this afternoon, and you'll get a free coupon code to get this from my shop. So you have to just join up for my email list. Link to my email list is in the description below, so you can just do that quickly if you're not already on my email list. The next thing is, tomorrow I've got my next craft coming out. It is these guys here. I made a whole bunch of hyacinths. So that's going live tomorrow on my YouTube channel. There's a new video coming out tomorrow on YouTube for how to make these, as well as my blog will have a post on how to make those if you prefer to read than to watch videos. Also in the link below, I've got a link to a craftedpreneur planner. If you like to plan your crafts and like to share them on social, that's a good tool to use. So there's a link for that below as well. And then the last thing I have is if you like participating in my live crafting sessions that I have here, I actually do scripted ones, let's call it. They are actually planned where there's a craft that's involved. You get an actual project file with the event, and that next one is happening on March 6th, so you can also get a link for that. There's a link for that below in my description here of the video, where you can also grab that if you'd like. And so, without further ado, let's do some. Okay, so let's do some crafting unscripted. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change my view here and make sure I got my workspace set up so that we can all see. A few weeks ago we did this card, and this is basically like an 8.5 by 11 cut in half and then folded in half, and this is the card. And last week we did a envelope using our Cricuts, and obviously you can use other cutting machines if you have them, but I use Cricut, and I use Design Space, so we made some envelopes. I don't have those handy anymore, they're somewhere. But I wanted to also go over how to make envelopes in case you do not have a cutting machine, or I don't know, you're in the middle of like getting out the door and you don't have time to boot up the machine, and you want to just do it by hand. So we're going to do it by hand. Now I'm going to go over 2 different types, and if I'm lucky, after I post this live, I can actually show you, like I put timestamps on the video to show you what type of envelope we're doing when. But this one here that we're going to do first, and I'm going to say this is probably the less of my favorites of these 2 types, requires no glue. All it does is need maybe scissors if you don't have square paper. I'm using here, let me just change my angle, see if I can get more organized here so that you guys can see this better. Sorry about that. So this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and we need to make this into a square. So I'm just going to simply fold this, and ideally you want to fold it perfectly. If you can't, that's cool. It just makes it a little bit tighter when you are putting the card in later. So I got my square, and this is where I need to cut my paper. Just pull out my faithful paper cutter. I didn't change the blade on my paper cutter like I was supposed to last night, and so if this rips, that's because my paper cutter is dull. And so we fold our paper, so we got a square. Now, if you're starting off with a square, you can use any size of square, obviously. Obviously bigger square, bigger envelope, smaller square, smaller envelope. But if we're just using an 8.5 by 11, which is what we started with, then this will work well for this card that we made a few weeks ago. So I'm going to just fold my square in half again. Now I'm going to try to fold this like a professional and not like a child, and have my ends all nicely lined up. Okay, so now we've got sort of square, and if you start out with a square, you got to fold it both ways so that it folds both ways. And now we're going to do some of this. We're going to fold this one side right to the center here and squish it down here. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And squish this down here. Try to center it up so that it's not off kilter like mine. And you can fold this top piece here if you'd like. I don't like to, because later on I'm going to show you how I like to fold this at the end. If you fold it now, then it's going to have two folds in it. The next one we got to do is, we've got a good angle here. I'm going to get my ruler just to show you a little bit better. Since I'm not folding my card here because I don't like to, I'm just going to put my ruler here to know how far to go with this. And we just want to fold this card all the way up to here. And fold this down like so. Now, this is coming along nicely. So now we unfold it. And we're going to fold this side here. And I want to fold this angle here to come up to this spot here. So it's going to line up straight like that. So you're going to have a straight edge here, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Now you can unfold this if you want to. You don't need to, because we're going to fold that again later anyways. And we're going to fold here like so. And there we go. And now, excuse me, I need to have some tea here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to unfold this bottom part. And we're going to fold this to the original halfway fold. So that was this fold here. We're going to fold this to this point here. And trying to be straight again. And now these folds that we just made before, we're going to fold them over. Fold and fold. And now we're going to do some weird folding. I'm going to unfold this, and now we're going to fold this side in. And then we're going to fold this side in, just making sure I've got you guys on my screen. And we're going to kind of massage this out so that all the folds that we've been making turn out nicely here with this. This guy's not turning out nicely today. So all of these folds, my fold somewhere is not folded properly enough, and it's not letting me fold it on the inside. Okay. So we're going to fold this in and fold this in, and now we want to, sorry I cannot zoom in when I'm doing a live, we want to fold this like so into a little square. Pinch this a little bit more in here. It's not folding nicely on my live. Of course it's not. Okay. Woo! So it looks like a little tongue or a tie, and it's folded on the inside here on both sides. Now, if you are not like me and it folded nicely and smoothly, we're ready to assemble this. So now we're going to fold this over like so. And we're going to throw this piece in here and this other side in here. And we're going to like smooth this out. And now we've got an envelope. Now we haven't folded this top part yet, and I'll show you why. I'm just going to show you my card fits in here like so. Now, if I were to have folded the envelope at this line, this is just going to kind of come straight here, and we're going to have like a little gap here. So I like to fold this a little bit farther over and cover that up. Now, if you want to, you can cut these little corners off, and there you have a envelope, and then you just put a sticker on it or glue it shut. This requires no glue, no anything. I personally don't like this one too much, because if you don't do all of your folding in this little triangle area here, this card kind of like bunches in this area, and it can be, I don't know, kind of weird. But it's nice if you need to, if you're in a pinch and you need to make a card like last minute and you are like in a hurry and you don't have an envelope. So that works because you don't need anything. All you need is like a piece of paper. And I mean, if you are skilled at paper, you know how to cut a piece of paper without scissors. So that's the first envelope. No glue, just paper. Now we're going to do another one here, which requires glue because I'm a glue fan. Same idea. So we're going to start off with another 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And this time we're going to do the same thing because we're just going to try to fold this straight and make this into a triangle. And now, in case you don't know how to cut paper without scissors, I'll just do this quickly here. I've got my triangle measured, and I'm going to line this side up here. Almost perfect, but not quite. Okay. And fix this because I'm live, so nothing is going to work perfectly. And I'm just going to fold this with my fingers, and I'm going to push it down really hard with my nails. And then I'm going to fold this a few times and squish it down really well with my nails. And then, if all goes well, this will rip perfectly, so I don't need scissors. Back to the same thing we're doing before. We are now going to fold this in half. And we've got a square into 4 sides. Now, this time we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line this up on both sides. Try to be straight. And again, I'm not going to fold this because I like to have that ability to fold it a little bit more instead of having 2 fold lines. So I'll just put this here for now. And we're going to fold this up like so, up to here, and squish this down. And now we're going to put our ruler here, and we're going to line it up sort of at these little intersection points of the 2 papers, and just so that we can kind of curl that up so we know where to fold it. And now we're going to fold this down, and we're going to fold this in. Now we're going to put our glue, because I like glue. I'm a glue fan. Where's my lid? My little pointer here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to glue this in this area here. Just up, over, and back down. And just... Okay. You can like play with the glue and smooth it out if you'd like. I'm just going to close this top here. And then I'm going to flip this over. And now this is in place. And I prefer this method because now my card's not bulky here. It doesn't pop out. It just sort of stays flat. And again, I put my card in. And if you want to, you can cut these edges. But you've got a little bit more space to flip this card over and have it completely over the top there. Just like that. And that is our other envelope. So those are the 2 different types of envelopes that we can make without a cutting machine. Now, the one thing I want to point out, and I'm just going to waste some more paper because I like to waste paper, I think is what it is. I want to go over making the same envelope, just either one, but with a different size of paper. And I'm going to show you here. So I'm going to use this card as an example. So this card that I make, this is, when I'm making bigger cards, I do 5 by 7. So I cut it through with my Cricut on 8.5 by 11, and then I cut it down and have a whole bunch of scrap paper. But this 5 by 7 is what I'm using. And so if I want to have an envelope that fits this, I need a bigger piece of paper. So I need like 12 by 12. And so actually for this size, I found the best piece of paper to use is a 10.5 by 10.5. Now, obviously not a standard size. So we get to cut this down. But before we cut this down, I want to show you something with the piece of paper here. If I just take off 1.5 inches off of each side, I might not actually have a perfect square because, especially if you're using the loose 12 by 12 pages, they're not actually 12 by 12 squares. So we're going to do a perfect fold here. Let me try to do a perfect fold here. And you'll notice this edge is, this corner here is perfectly lined up on both sides. but it doesn't actually come out perfectly on this side or on this side. And this is just the way that it happens. So if you're using loose 12 by 12 paper, you're not necessarily going to have a perfect square. This will impact you later. So let's go and just do this quickly. I'm going to show you here on 12 by 12. So if you're using 12 by 12 paper, the nice thing about this is that you can actually fit in a card that is, like if you were to use an 8.5 by 11 and fold it in half and make a card out of it, then this will fit perfectly. So we're going to just do this. We're going to do this with the glue method because I prefer to glue it than to not glue it. And shut this and shut this. Now this is going to hold for me in a second, but I'm going to grab another piece of paper here. So this is just an 8.5 by 11. And while this is drying, I'm going to thing here. I'm just going to fold this in half. So if you want to make a card out of this size, which is totally fine because there's a lot less cutting and all you need to do is fold it in half. This should fit in here, but since this isn't a perfect square, you're actually going to have a little bit of fold in here. So if you have like, if you buy these books, like what are these ones here? Like these ones, these are actual squares. If you have loose 12 by 12, they're not. So your card's going to be kind of like squishy in here, but you know, whatever. Again, this will fit. We've got our card, and again, I'm just going to fold this over like this. And then I've got a nice envelope for a card that is based off of an 8.5 by 11. So that would fit in there perfectly. Now, since we're perfectionists and we like to do things the right way, what we're going to do is we're going to use another 12 by 12 piece of paper, loose, not a not one from the books. And I'm going to measure off 10.5 inches here. Somewhere I've got a pen. And I'm going to measure from the same side so that it all lines up. That's 10.5 here. And then 10.5 here. And we're going to cut this. Now again, I apologize if my paper cutter chews this up because my edge isn't straight. My paper cutter's not sharp anymore. And I forgot to change the blade last night. And I don't know where my spare blades are, but I bought a pack of like 100 of them the other day, so they're somewhere here. That's 10.5 here. And 10.5 here. Now, I'm not going to fold this paper for you and show you, but that's still not a perfect, the size isn't perfect there, so we got to make sure that we're cutting this the way that it fits in. Now, when we put this one in here, we're going to cut this again. And now I actually have a square that's workable. And so we're going to fold this. And I did not make a perfect square because my edges are a little bit off. I apologize, but it worked last night when I was doing my test runs on this. So this is doable. This does work. You can make a perfect square. And we're just going to fold this and fold this again. And we're going to fold here and here, and we're going to put some glue. Now we can do the other one, the origami one. I don't like it, especially with this thicker cardstock, because I find that it really starts to bunch the paper a lot. And so now my card is done. I'm just going to hold this for a second so it glues into place. This paper takes a little bit longer to dry with the glue. And then this is my card that we designed that you can get a free copy of if you sign up for my newsletter. Email's going out later today with the code at my shop. This fits in here. Side of the balloons fits in here perfectly, and then we just fold it at the top here so that the card goes in nicely and there's no edges here that are poking through with the card. And that's it. So we've got 2 new envelopes that we can make. These are, you know, no cutting machines are required. So hopefully that helps you out. Oh, I was going to ask you guys some questions. I'm sorry. Well, So here's a question for you for next time. When you are crafting, I just made a big mess. How often do you clean up your crafting room? So if you are online now, you can answer that while I'm still yapping away here. And if you're watching the replay, you can let me know in the comments below. But how often do you clean? I try to clean, like, I don't know, after every major crafting session. So I don't know if that ever ends, but crafting sessions ever end. So, but I try to clean up, like, you know, in between projects while I'm working on things so that it's not a total mess all the time. So let me know how often you clean your crafting space, or if you have to clean it like every time, if you've got a small space and you have to, you know, clean it up after you're done because you eat you eat dinner at your kitchen table or something like that. So let me know. Don't forget that you can get this card here that we've got. You can get this card on my website for free if you sign up for my newsletter. The coupon code for that's going to come out later today. And if you don't get it today, it will still be coming out again tomorrow in my weekly newsletter, so you can get it there if you missed the live in the email today. Also, don't forget I've got a live Crafting with Katherine session where you get an actual project to work on with me. Next one is live on March 6th, so be sure to get tickets to that. I've left the link below for that in my workspace. And what else do I got? I have something else to say. I don't know. There was more to say, but I don't know. I forgot. Anyways, that's it for today. We're done with envelopes for now. Next week, I'm not totally sure what we're going to do. So if you have any ideas of what you would like to see, or if you have any things that are like you need to learn how to do, or you've got some questions, drop me a note in the comments below and I'll see if we can make that happen in the next few weeks. Otherwise, I'm going to sign off for now, and we will see you guys next week, Thursday at 12:15 Eastern. Thanks so much for joining us, and happy crafting.